Kamala expected to unveil second key economic policy plank for New Hampshire speech Wednesday, focus on small biz and startups, likely mix, including tax credit grants, technical assistance. Why does that suck? Because that right there is precisely what the Democrats always do. That is old school Democratic Party nonsense. I'm just going to skip the Israel stuff and the Ukraine stuff. We'll get back to that later. Let's get started on Harris and Biden campaigning in Pennsylvania to court union workers. Donald Trump didn't really do a Labor Day spot, but he's back now. He's going to do a spot today. Let's start off with campaign mania. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started.
With just 9 weeks to go, the battle for the White House is now a dramatically changed race. Harris versus Trump, with the current president, Joe Biden, campaigning for the first time alongside his VP, who now tops the Democratic ticket.
She has a backbone like a ramrod. She has the moral compass of a saint. This woman knows what she's doing.
Harris in Pennsylvania, using the Labor Day holiday to emphasize her commitment to union workers.
When union wages go up, everybody's wages go up. When union workplaces are safer, all workplaces are safer. When unions are strong, America is strong.
Noticeably off the trail.
Dude, if you can't recognize the difference between Kamala Harris's speech on unions versus Kamala Harris on any other issue, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't recognize the difference between Kamala Harris on unions versus the Hillary Clinton Labor Day speech that we watched, you are probably so oblivious you don't realize this September. And at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. And that if you subscribe for $6 or for free, I don't know what the September benefits are. I still haven't figured that out. You will be able to avoid said ads. Okay? Like, I was genuinely surprised at how dynamic she was when talking about unions. It does strike me as one of those like weird areas of interest for her. Surprisingly, this is definitely a Biden era change for the Democratic Party, where they actively communicate to unions, say labor unions, don't just talk about like workers, don't just talk about the middle class. I think it's good. It's a good change. We'll see if this change also means that they will, do things that make it easier to organize. But I think more casual people don't notice the differences, seem mostly glossed over by who's doing the speaking. Still, it's a welcome change of attitude and a welcome change of pace in general. Did you watch the Lex interview? I just started. It hasn't even been an hour yet. I ran the first 3-minute ad break just now. Not disputing Biden admin, especially NLRB, wasn't good for unions, but didn't unionization percentage fall under Biden? Yes. The issue, of course, is that these are historic trends. The existing unions also happen to get like pretty solid contracts under Biden, though, like historic contracts under Biden. But yes, the unionization percentages is at an all-time low.
This Labor Day, Mr. Trump, but attacking Harris on his social media platform, writing all Americans are suffering during this holiday weekend. Also over the weekend, the former president sparking new controversy by insisting he had every right to interfere with the 2020 election, while repeating his false claim that criminal election interference cases against him are politically motivated.
Whoever heard you get indicted for interfering with a presidential election where you have every right to do it? You get indicted and your poll numbers go up.
The next major moment in this race, the presidential debate, now just 1 week away. Multiple sources familiar with Harris's preparations tell NBC News she's held a series of work sessions.
This sucks ass, by the way. Kamala expected to unveil second key economic policy plank for New Hampshire speech Wednesday, focus on small biz and startups, likely mix, including tax credit grants, technical assistance. Why does that suck? Because that right there is precisely what the Democrats always do. That is old school Democratic Party nonsense. Okay, here we go. Okay, ain't nobody out there is ever going to get excited for tax credits for small business and startups. It is boring as it literally sucks. It sucks. It's means tested garbo. I hate it. I think it's bad policy. I think it's bad politics. Okay, straight up. The issue, however, is that it appeals to the absolute worst, most annoying out there. So we'll be hearing a lot of people, we'll be hearing a lot from people, the exact worst type of people in society, Redditors and the like, who love this type of, even if they don't have a small business, but they get really annoying and technical about how like great this actually is. I think it sucks. It is poison. It is the exact opposite of like broad sweeping changes in the legislative agenda. For example, you know what helps small businesses? The way that Tim Walz talks about this is phenomenal. Paid family leave. Why does that help small businesses? Because now small businesses don't have to compete against Walmart or other massive, ginormous corporations that can offer paid family leave. Okay. That's how you help small businesses. Push for broad sweeping legislative changes for all Americans, and then angle it from the perspective of small businesses. Don't try to directly target startups and small businesses. It is unnecessarily divisive, and it is also boring. Lol at Walmart offering, no, it's not. Sure, Walmart doesn't offer it. I know, but you know what I mean. Like, there are large chains that are more competitive, that can offer better, that can sometimes offer better amenities to their workers in comparison to a small business. Okay. Yeah. This was really funny. This is a classic old school Kamala Harris one. This is a banger. We made fun of this a lot in 2019. Yesterday, I announced that as president, I'll establish a student loan debt forgiveness program for Pell Grant recipients who start a business that operates for 3 years in disadvantaged communities. As opposed to just doing student loan debt forgiveness. Why can't you just say student loan debt forgiveness? Like, this was in 2019 when she was running in the primary. Terrible instincts in general. What a laughable notion. I want to thank everyone for your feedback and clarify some confusion. We have an opportunity gap in our country, and one thing we need to do is support black entrepreneurs. I have a plan to do that on multiple fronts. It's also unnecessarily identity politics focused as well, which is annoying because, like, dude, like, this is not helping black people. This is helping like 8 black people. Okay. And you have unnecessarily tied like student loan debt relief to helping out like 8 black people that might leave a college and then go back to a community that is underserved and start a podcast or something. Like, it sucks. Yeah. So student loan relief for Pell Grant recipients is just one component of our plan to reduce the opportunity gap for black entrepreneurs. Along with $12 billion in direct capital, we can ensure black entrepreneurs have a real shot at starting small businesses. Ben Norton, Bernie Sanders, we should forgive all student debt and make public universities free by taxing Wall Street. Neoliberal cop Kamala Harris, we should offer to forgive only up to $20,000 in student debt if someone opens up a business and runs it for 3 years. Like, what an incredibly bad idea. Anyway, this was like an old one. This was a like a old, terrible, means tested, like classic old school Democratic Party bad idea. Okay. Matt Brunig is also saying what I've been kind of pointing to for a while now, which is, tax credits. Everything's a tax credit. Respect to TPC for the Tax Policy Center for spending most of this piece on the administrative problems of this proposal. We need way more of that in the discourse in general. All these problems are solvable if you stop implementing this shit as tax credits, though weirdly, that's never on the table. It's not weird. It's because Americans are geared towards tax cuts. Americans and the Democrats are terrified of presenting anything as like spending money on Americans, and only can angle any sort of political movement in the direction of less taxes. That's it. Okay? That's it. And it's very frustrating. It's so frustrating. I mean, I've talked about this as well. It's just like everything's a tax cut. Everything's a tax cut. Everything's a tax credit. You really don't have to talk about how to best mitigate all the problems caused by having the IRS run a welfare program. You really can just decide not to have any of those problems if by designing it as a normal Social Security Administration program. I mean, don't get me wrong. Whom among us does not like the intellectual challenge of how to do things in ways that don't make sense? I'd love to see a paper on how the Mine Health Safety Administration could run child allowance. But when it comes to doing actual policy, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Okay. It does make sense if you think about it from the framework of like, I am terrified of ever running a campaign that is going to just straight up give people money because I'm worried they're going to say I'm a communist. And I'm worried that they're going to say, how do we pay for it? How do we pay for it? How do we pay for it over and over again? And I don't want to, I don't want to ever personally deal with that messaging problem. So everything's a tax cut. Everything's a tax cut. Everything's a tax cut. Anyway, there's more. Advisors have weighed, including parts of the care economy, such as paid leave and childcare patients and tax plans, e.g. billionaire tax hike in the upcoming push this week, but I'm not sure whether they'll make it in. Oh, so they're not putting in the good. I was surprised to learn that 62 million U.S. workers are employed by a firm with fewer than 500 employees. Oh, my Lord. This is the good part. This is the care economy, focusing on the care economy, paid leave, childcare plans, tax plans, including billionaire tax hike. That's the good. So they're literally coming out with the cookie cutter, means tested neoliberal and not coming out with the actual good. Doing this shit also makes doing taxes without some stupid shit like TurboTax or a CPA impossible, which makes something like a single tax bill being sent to the Americans by the IRS even harder to implement. Oh my God. Oh my Lord, dude. I don't even know if, Dems are so afraid of being called communist, good Lord. They're going to be called communist regardless. Just do things that are good for people and communicate how they're good for people and how Republicans are lying. You can do that already. Okay. You're doing that already. You're doing that already. You are forced to do that in every other aspect. Like Biden is calling her Comrade Harris. Okay. Trump literally is calling Kamala Harris Comrade Harris. Okay. Did I say Biden? Sorry. Trump is calling Kamala Harris Comrade Harris. Trump says that under the Biden administration, America skipped a step with socialism and went to straight communism. These are laughable concepts. Just laugh at it and be like, these dumbasses want us to not give you nice things, okay? For far too long, nice things have only been afforded by the federal government in the form of taxpayer-funded subsidies to corporations and the billionaire class. We want you to get a crumb of that. There's a lot of you out there. There's a lot more of you than there are of them. But we want to, and it's going to be somewhat costly, but we want you to get something in return for all the taxes that you're paying for. Okay? They call that communism. It's utterly ridiculous because they don't want you to have nice things. Just say that because it's the truth. Okay? Force them into a corner of engaging in, deficit hawkish behavior that Donald Trump doesn't like doing. He does not do it because he is a populist. He knows he doesn't want to do that. He knows that that's poison for his base. Okay? It would divide his perspective. It would literally divide his base. If he was engaging in deficit hawking, it would literally cut across his own base of support. There are a ton of people who still think Donald Trump has their best interest in mind because he communicates that way. Kind of funny, just 2% of Democrats say Biden made the wrong decision by dropping out per Suffolk poll. 18% of Republicans say he did. Yeah. Is there an inherent reason why they won't engage in the truth? I understand Dems are terrible, but the current strategy seems like the same old garbage because the same old garbage seems promising now because it's got a new polish on it. Okay, that's it. It's no longer Joe Biden, who is like a carcass presenting the same old garbage. It's now Kamala Harris presenting the same old garbage, and she is at the very least like younger and more dynamic seemingly. So they think that this will allow them to win a marginal victory. There is no interest in like making bold proclamations, running a campaign of hope and change. Even if you're not going to follow through on it, there's still obviously a great benefit to running on it. Yeah, feeding hungry kids isn't radical, it's human decency. There you go, dude. There you go. Okay? It's almost as if a lot of those liberals who are diehard loyalists of the Democratic Party will literally defend these policies on principle, but also they'll reflexively defend these policies because it's the Democratic Party running with them. Let's play moderate game until we have the House and Senate, then ram through as many progressive policies. No, that's not how this works. You're failing to understand what I am saying. Okay? You're failing to understand what I'm saying. First of all, they're not going to ram through progressive policies. That's not going to happen. Okay? And also, not only is that not going to happen, running with a progressive agenda is not unpopular. This is a lie that has been told by the Democratic Party to their base, okay? Absolutely zero people are like, oh man, I really would appreciate a tax credit if like I worked in an underserved community for 3 years as a small business owner, as a Pell Grant recipient. That is unnecessarily complex. You're adding, that is the Elizabeth Warren to the Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders comes out and he's like, everyone needs health care. Y'all are ridiculous. Everyone deserves health care. We got to make this free. It would literally cost less to the government. It would cost less to the average American. Okay. At the end of the day, right? That's it. Boom. Universality. It's simple. It works. It's great. Elizabeth Warren's like, well, you know, here's how we're going to actually do this. We're going to means test this proposal. We're going to make the military more green, yada, yada, yada. It's not simple. It's complicated. It's nerdy. It's unnecessary. Okay. Warren made Rube Goldberg ass policy. Exactly. There's no reason to do any of those things, especially when whether you are offering like some tax credits to key constituencies that you have identified are going to help you win like maybe a marginal victory. You are losing out on the message regardless, and they're going to call you a socialist or a communist anyway, you know? It. Put them on, like, fight for once. Democrats, fight for once in your goddamn lives. Put the Republicans on defense. You already did that, and that's why you had so much juice and so much momentum, and now you're cutting all of that juice and momentum by running the most, like, boring-ass, neoliberal, Hillary Clinton-ass campaign. Oh, I keep telling you guys, this is not effective, okay? It's not. But nobody wants to listen to me. Everyone's like, whoa, shut up. Look at the polls. They're golden. Polls look great. Polls are great. There's 62 days remaining. There's still no policies. There's still no policy proposal page. There's the first debate coming up in like 10 days. And they have cut away at like a lot of the early messaging that worked that gave them a massive boost. People in the Democratic Party, from progressives all the way to moderates, want the Democrats to fight. They want the Democrats to win, okay? But if you run scared and you refuse to fight against the Republican Party, and then you also capitulate to their framing on key issues like immigration, you're going to barely win or maybe even lose. How are you still harping about zero policies when they stated like half a dozen? Oh my God, dude. They don't have a policy page. They don't have policy papers that you need to give to door knockers and canvassers. What the are you talking about? Okay, you need you need policies on paper. Okay, that's how you engage in door knocking. That's what you give to your canvassers. This is just bad campaigning in general. Please stop. Don't worry, bro. They're definitely running the campaign of the century. What is this? Yet Biden knows better than anyone that Scoop Jackson's belligerent foreign policy, including the commitment to giving Israel a virtual blank check of America's support, has been losing ground in the Democratic Party for decades. According to Benjamin Netanyahu in 2021, Biden emphasized to him in a private conversation that domestic pressures were making it difficult for Biden to be as pro-Israel as he wanted. Biden reportedly said, Bibi, I got to tell you, I'm coming under a lot of pressure back here. This is not Scoop Jackson's Democratic Party. That's awesome. Scoop Jackson died in 1983. Okay. He died in 1983. He was born in 1912. Okay. 1912. This ain't Scoop Jackson's Democratic Party, Jack. You're telling me someone was named Scoop? Yes, brother, because he was born in 1912. They don't even name like that anymore. That's how old he is. He's so old. He died in 1983. Do you understand what I'm saying? He was born in the turn of the century. They don't even name people like that. How many of you know named Scoop, bro? It's from a different era. Back when they had soda jerks, okay? That's not a concept any longer, okay? Unless you're a Mormon in Utah. I know it's a nickname. They don't. Yes, dude, I know. His name is Henry M. Jackson. My point is, they don't name Scoop anymore. Like, they don't just go, Jack, all right, we're going to name you Scoop. That's right. That's like not a thing. That's not a thing. Oh, actually just Henry. Dude, shut up. I know his name is Henry Jackson. Oh my God, you guys are so annoying. I'm saying they do not name, like they don't give nicknames like Scoop and call people Scoop Jackson any longer. Oh my God, you guys are so lame, dude. Disappointing all around. All right, let's continue.
Between campaign stops, and unlike Mr. Trump, who shared the stage with President Biden earlier this summer, it'll be Harris's first debate in nearly 4 years. And no public events are scheduled today for either Harris or Trump, but this week does notably mark the beginning of voting season, believe it or not, with the first absentee general election ballots getting mailed out in the key battleground state of North Carolina this Friday. Savannah.
Always good to remember. Voting is about to begin. Peter, thank you.
Hey, thanks.
Let's bring in our national political correspondent, Steve Kornacki, to break it down. Let's start with the state of the race from a national perspective as we head into this final stretch.
Yeah, here we go, Savannah. So this is the average of all of the polls that are out there nationally right now. And you see Kamala Harris, the vice president, with a 3-point lead over Donald Trump. Two ways to look at this. If you're a Democrat, obviously you're happy you're ahead, and it's an improvement from when Joe Biden was the candidate. He trailed Donald Trump all year. But if you're a Republican, you could take solace in this. This is not unfamiliar territory for Donald Trump. Labor Day 2020, he trailed Joe Biden by 9. He almost came back to win that race. 2016, he trailed Hillary Clinton by 5 on Labor Day. He did come back to win.
So Harris has actually it's a tighter national margin. But as we know, these elections are determined state by state in these battleground states. So let's look at a state of the race there.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, numbers look worse when you look at the states, when you look at state by state. Numbers look the best. Numbers look the best when you look at like the national average. You still need a +5, okay? For the Democrats to win over the Republican Party, because there are more Democrats, there are more registered Democrats in this country than there are registered Republicans. There are more Democratic voters in this country than there are Republican Party voters. Ultimately, you still, given the way that the Electoral College works, you still need around a +5, okay? And as you can tell right here, 2016 polls were a little different. Obviously, there was a lot of overcorrecting that needed to take place for polling in 2016. Hillary Clinton's +5 didn't actually end up helping her secure the victory.
Let's go through now 7 battleground states. You can memorize this list at home. We're going to talk about them a lot between now and November. But the key here is that 6 of these 7 states all went for Joe Biden in 2020. North Carolina, the only went for Trump. And you see right now, the polling is tight in just about all of them. Trump ahead narrowly in Georgia, North Carolina. Small Harris leads, except take a look here, like in Wisconsin, Harris on average leading by 6. This is important to note. The polling was off in states like Wisconsin in 2020 and 2016. It underestimated Trump's support. Whether it does that again this time around, a major question.
That made a huge difference, of course, in the result there. So let's do my favorite, Matt, the 270. Love to see how this can play out when you start switching how the battlegrounds go.
Yeah, mine too. So we've got those 7 states you just mentioned in gray here, the battleground states. Look, 2 perspectives here. If you're Harris, your most direct path is this. They call them the Great Lakes states. Wisconsin, if you could win that, Michigan and Pennsylvania all went for Biden 4 years ago. Hold those, and you see it right there. Harris is at exactly 270. But here's the complication for her. What if she slips up in one of these? Pennsylvania, she didn't pick that state's governor as her running mate. Some people wonder about that. If she were to lose Pennsylvania, it is the largest of these battleground states.
It's over. If she doesn't win Pennsylvania, it's over. Okay? Like, the reason why it's over is because if you lose Pennsylvania, the likelihood that you will win Georgia is incredibly low. Like, there's no pathway, in my opinion, where you lose Pennsylvania, but then you win Georgia. And if you lose Pennsylvania, you most likely lost Georgia as well. And in which case, it's over. She's campaigned in Pennsylvania, right? Yes.
You could see her number comes down. She would then need to win at least 2 from this Sun Belt tier. And meanwhile, if Trump were to get Pennsylvania, it opens up the simplest path for him. Get Pennsylvania, hold North Carolina, which he won in 2020, and then just win back Georgia, which he narrowly lost, and he'd be at exactly 270.
All right. And Steve, you're not wearing khakis. You're wearing gray pants. Are you going in a new fashion direction that we need to be aware?
That's crazy that they know about the khaki Kornacki, dude. You think they're HasanAbi watchers? Like, do you think there's like producers in the room that know? I mean, I guess we're not the only community that love the Steve Kornacki khakis.
Yeah, I'm always very conscious of my fashion decisions here. You know me, you know me.
All right, we're on the journey with you.
You're not the only one to bring it up. Yeah, a lot of libs love his khaki Kornackis, too.
Thank you very much.
The Kornacki khakis. Check ban appeals are probably there. All right, we got a new Harris ad. Focused Harris Wallets 2024. Not everything revolves around you, law. Okay, first of all, I said this community, okay? Oh my God. I can't even make a goddamn joke. I can't even make a goddamn joke without 48 month subscribers like literally shoving it down my gullet today. What is happening? Is it because I didn't pick your personal favorite car in the morning when we were talking about it? Your viewers genuinely hate you, bro. Yeah, like literally. What the man? Yo, are you okay, dude? Are you all right? Are you all right? Is that what happened? I didn't like the car? I didn't like the car that you wanted to suggest. You didn't even suggest a car. Is that a confession? Bro, we're just joking. Dude, I already get enough. Listen, man, I already get enough hatred outside in the real world. Well, not in the real world, but like online, outside of this goddamn community. I don't have to log in and eat from my 26-month supporters. You know what I'm saying? Dude, calm down. Stop being mean. Literally, Russia hates you. I know. I got the goddamn government of Russia making fun of me, saying I'm gay. Any protein bars you recommend? Quest. Bruv, that's why we're here. On my end, I have a hard time coping because you called my car pick ass. Yes, I don't like the Bronco Raptor. I do like Broncos though, but if I were to get a Bronco, I'd probably get a resto mod. There's like EV resto mods that are pretty sick. The problem is they are, one, incredibly expensive, two, incredibly unreliable. But the old ones are so sick. All right, let's look at this new Kamala Harris.
We all know costs are too high. But while corporations are gouging families, Trump is focused on giving them tax cuts. But Kamala Harris is focused on you.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll make groceries more affordable by cracking down on price gouging. And she'll cut housing costs by taking on corporate speculators. Middle-class families build America. We need a leader who has their back.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
A troubling incident, this one out.
Yeah, the U.S. Marines. We'll talk about that. But what is this? The Russians are not the only ones using your ads. What? Using your likeness in ads, it seems. Okay, dude. So looking at the poll stuff, do you think she's gonna win? You made it sound like it's a little dire. Right now, if the election is tomorrow, she has a decent pathway to victory. It's just wait, what the? Hold on 1 second. I had to do something. Stop reading the orange comments, you fatty. Have we heard anything else about the U.S. needing to have the most lethal army? I hope she pushes that more. It's really important. Bro, I would be lawyering up you about the cash out. Oh, tell me why Snopes bothered covering this. Because everyone is just in clown world, dude. That's what it is. Whatever happened to that discourse that the war chest wasn't going to Kamala? Oh, yeah. Remember that? Another thing that they were wrong about. Liberals always running scared and always being wrong. Incredibly consistent. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is this, okay? Right now, the polls do show Kamala Harris up. And I do still think that Kamala Harris has a pathway to victory. The issue, however, is that there is no reason for, I found out on TikTok that Shane Gillis knows who you are. Sadly, it's not good. That's not surprising. He's like homies with Sam Hyde and them. I don't think he likes me that much. I don't care. I'm still, you know, I give him props for being funny. He was on that pod with the one neo-Nazi with the glasses. Yeah, exactly. Do you think the uncommitted movement will cost Kamala Michigan? Well, I don't know. We'll see. All right. Chad, did he beat the Tiger yesterday? I did. I did beat the Tiger's ass. What was I talking about? God damn it. In terms of Kamala Harris's pathway to victory, okay, there is a likelihood that she will still win. The problem, however, is it's not supposed to be this close. It should not be this close, especially because Donald Trump is ass. He's running an ass campaign. People have already made up their minds on Donald Trump. Okay. And not only have people made up their minds on Donald Trump, he's very clearly panicking and trying to literally secure non-voters once again, like inactive people that are eligible to vote that have not voted either ever before or have not voted for a Republican before. Okay. That's why he has the RFK pick. That's why he's going on podcasts. That's why he's trying to go out for younger male voters. Okay. people that normally don't vote. This kind of movement will not be reflected in the polls. Okay, so he's trying to pull another 2016 upset, basically. Now, do I think he's capable of doing that? Do I think there are enough people out there that will go, you know, I hadn't made up my mind about Donald Trump, but I really do think he's an outsider, independent voice who's, going to destroy the deep state or whatever No, I don't think so. I think there are far more normal people out there who are just like, yeah, Donald Trump is chaotic. I don't really like him. I don't want to think about politics. It's lame. But the issue is Kamala Harris needs to communicate for those people. Kamala Harris needs to win those people over.